Hi, I'm Jerry Wise, and I'm a marriage and family expert in Indianapolis, Indiana, or Carmel, Indiana. I'm fortunate enough to be down here in Miami Beach, South Beach, at the Metropolitan Como Hotel, and I wanted to do this video for you regarding adult children of narcissistic parents doing a controlled separation. I have many clients who are wanting to separate or break from their families, or take a break from their families, or there are clients who have already cut off from their families. They feel lost. They might feel a little less pressure, but they still feel guilty, ashamed, and still very emotionally connected to their family, even when they don't have contact with their family. Or they have cut off from their family of origin or parents long ago, and they maybe like to re-engage with their family again and do it in a more safe way or a more self-caring way. Many times clients feel so reactive, and to feel safe, they cut off from their narcissistic family members, boyfriends, parents, friends, and many others whose relationship they have enjoyed for a long time but had lots of problems with, because they maintain an ongoing relationship with the narcissist, and they feel confused and at a loss as to how to navigate the cutoff. They don't know what to do once they've cut off from the narcissist. This video is for them. This is about the high voltage, high emotional voltage, intergenerational work that we have. Our intergenerational relationships with our family of origin are very highly charged emotionally. We don't get as reactive with the J.C. Penney's clerk, but we do get very reactive for the very same thing with our parents, brothers, our aunts and uncles. And this video is not for those who deal with the malignant, sociopathic, and extremely abusive narcissist, because this video is for those who deal with more the covert narcissist, the benign narcissist, the naively narcissistic, and more the self-absorbed parents or family members. And remember, narcissism is on a continuum, and you have the malignant and sociopathic narcissistic at one end, and more the self-absorbed, more benign narcissist at the other end. So there's not just one kind of narcissist, there are many. This video is more towards the healthier side of the narcissistic continuum. I remember working with a client who wanted a controlled separation from his father. And remember, this video doesn't fit all sizes and all circumstances, but I wanted to give you an idea how you might work with a controlled separation from family members or taking a break. Decide what the nature of your controlled separation that you need and what you want with a controlled separation. Do you want a full separation, no contact at all? Partial separation where I'll call you only, and you can call me in emergency situations if family members or parents. Maybe it's we'll only get together when we go out with other people. I don't want to go out with you alone because you violate my boundaries so often. We secondly inform the family member, or we decide whether we're going to inform the family member or whether we're not going to inform the family member. To inform the family member, which I think is a mature thing to do at the beginning maturity, this client chose to make a brief statement to his father that he's going to take a break and to do some internal work on himself, and that he doesn't want to have a lot of contact with his father. He kind of wants a partial separation. Don't call me, I'll call you. Call me if there's an emergency situation. You can see your grandson, that's fine. But I don't want to have to come when you're having family dinners and gatherings and reunions and things like that, or just come kick it with you in some way. I don't want to do that. And then what are you asking of them? Again, I'll call you, please don't call me, emergency contact, etc. Hopefully we can express this in a non-defensive way with no reasons given necessary, no arguing or explaining. If they want you to explain and argue, often they're trying to draw you back in. You're just stating clearly what you want, what you need, and what you're going to do. I don't have to give you answers or reasons or even why. Often the why gets us into trouble. I tell clients and guide them into acting their age. If they're 35 years old, that you act like a 35-year-old man or woman, not a 15-year-old child when you're talking to your parents or making those kinds of decisions for a controlled separation. During the controlled separation, this is what we do. We work to find out who we are, what we need, what we want. And say during this month, 3-month, or 6-month period of time for a controlled separation, we look at how and when the narcissist is still inside us. How and when is the parent still sitting inside us? Decide if you will re-engage. What kind of relationship do you want to have with your parent or family member when you re-engage them? And I don't mean the fantasy you dream about for them, but if I accepted the way they were, what type of relationship would I want? Friendship? Intimate? Just professional or business? Acquaintances like? In other words, they need to respect me as an adult, not just their biological child that they can say anything, do anything, that they need to know we're entering a new phase in our relationship. You're actually calling the parents who have been kind of self-focused, calling them to a greater maturity. Some are able to do that, some are able to not. But you're calling yourself to greater maturity, you're going to call them to greater maturity by your choices. For the less malignant and more self-absorbed parent, we will use the leverage that they desire to have a relationship with us and to set boundaries and insist they respect our wishes, or else. Because often just explaining it to them, if just explaining it to them and making the request was all you need to do, then I would just do that. For often the self-absorbed and narcissistic, they're not going to respect that explanation. After our self-imposed controlled separation from the narcissistic family members, we can then choose to re-engage. We then begin with boundary identification. What boundaries are we going to set? We now have a chance to reset the relationship. We come back as an adult, not coming back as a child. We actually come back as a different person, not the person they knew a year ago. This is the new you, the new adult you. And we learn to say stop if necessary. We leave if necessary. We can leave and say stop without explanation. Remember, when dealing with our parents, parenting, whether we're adults of any age, remember, the debt is paid. The debt was never owed for us owing our parents for what they did for us. We can be grateful, we can be gracious, but it's not a payment that's owed. Parenting is also no longer needed for us. We're adults, and it's no longer welcome. It's good to go re-engaging with those things firmly in place and those beliefs firmly in place, so that we can't get hooked by, well, remember, I had you in my belly for 9 months and you owe me. You're my child. I can say anything to you I want, even though now you're a 35-year-old child. We don't owe anyone a relationship if we are adults and if they're adults as well. And actually what we're doing is we're building a sense of self. We don't want that over familiarity. Even though we were raised in their home, I don't want them to treat me like I'm their young child in their home. I'm not. I'm an adult now. Remember, we can be separated, cut off, distant, live 2,000 miles away, and our families still live inside us. We need to deal with this. It's very important that we get them out of us. A controlled separation, and with proper coaching and help, can allow you to stay emotionally connected while getting them out of you, and yet distant enough so that you can do your internal work and not just cut off from them. Again, a cutoff is reactively being distant, reactively moving away, reactively running away because I can't handle this. it tends to solidify the toxicity inside of us and keeps the family of origin within us. Or that reactive no contact. I read a lot of people on YouTube, well, I just cut off all relationship with my family of origin. I'm so glad I did that. Well, that's fine. You may feel better now that you've done that. But then you still have difficult relationships. It's still at work in you, even though you now have no contact with them. And so what a family systems approach takes the view that if you stay connected emotionally, not going to their house every day, I mean staying connected in here and doing that work, you then can free yourself and become more neutral and more an adult and be yourself. A controlled separation allows you to stay emotionally connected without having the fog of the relationship in your way, which is all the old issues. Remaining emotionally connected makes it easier to get them out of you. You become more self-differentiated. So contact me to schedule a session where I can help you truly move forward to a healthier you and a more self-differentiated you. Please join our YouTube channel, and my contact information is on the screen for you. Schedule a session for a more specific plan in healing and recovering from narcissistic parents. My information is there for you. I do Skype and FaceTime sessions for people all over the world. I want to thank you for watching today, and have a great day.